Have you ever walked into a room and just felt, wow? You might have the perfect sofa, a really stunning piece of furniture, but the secret ingredient, the thing that turns it from just a nice sofa into the absolute star of the show, it's all about the light. Okay, let's dive into how you can use lighting to completely transform your space. And this, right here, really gets to the heart of it. You can spend a lot on a beautiful, handcrafted piece of furniture, but without the right lighting, all of its best qualities, the deep color, the soft sheen, that rich texture, they can just get lost. It's a super common problem, but the good news is, it's totally solvable. That really is the big question, isn't it? And it's not just about flipping a switch. It's about being intentional, about creating an atmosphere. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can do that, from the moment the sun comes up to late into the evening. So first up, we need to kind of shift how we think about light. It's not just a utility. It's not just so you can see where you're going. It's about setting a mood, creating an experience, and really making your home feel personal and inviting. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. When you've invested in something with beautiful materials and craftsmanship, just look at that full-grain leather. Thoughtful lighting is what honors that investment. It brings out all those little details and makes you fall in love with your furniture all over again every single day. All right, so where do we begin? Well, we start with the most powerful and honestly the best light source we have, the sun. Before we even think about lamps or bulbs, we have to get a handle on natural light. Natural light is just incredible. It's alive. It changes throughout the day, and it has this amazing power to show the true character of materials, like the gentle creases and that beautiful patina that makes a leather sofa so special. But here's the catch. You have to manage it. And the principles for this are actually pretty simple. First up, you want to keep your leather out of that harsh, direct sun. It'll just dry it out and fade it over time. Second, try angling your furniture towards the window. This lets the light just kind of graze across the surface, which really makes the texture pop. And finally, balance it all out. If one corner looks a bit gloomy or is stuck in a shadow, a simple lamp is all you need to bring some harmony to the space. Okay, now let's talk about what happens when day turns into night. When the sun goes down, that's when we get to be the artists, using artificial light to basically paint a scene. And the number one secret that all the top interior designers use, it is all about layering your light. So the real magic happens when you use all three of these layers together. Ambient light, that's your base layer, the general light for the room. Task lighting is your functional light, like a reading lamp next to a chair. And accent lighting, this is the fun part. That's the dramatic spotlight you use to highlight the beautiful curve of a sofa or a piece of art on the wall. Using all three gives you total control over the vibe of the room. Okay, so we've got the big picture strategy down. Now let's zoom in on the little details that make a huge difference. Starting with the bulb itself. This, right here, is where you can really fine-tune the whole atmosphere of the room. And this detail is so important. For a living space, you almost always want to choose warm light. Look for bulbs that are in the 2700 to 3000 Kelvin range. This is the sweet spot. It's the temperature that brings out the natural richness of leather and creates that welcoming, cozy glow we all love. Cool light, on the other hand, can feel really clinical, almost harsh, and it can actually make that beautiful furniture look dull and just lifeless. Now, if you have a really sculptural piece, like a classic Chesterfield, you want to light it in a way that emphasizes its shape. So using side or backlighting is perfect because it just skims across the surface and picks up all that gorgeous deep buttoning. Putting a pair of table lamps on either side creates this really elegant, symmetrical, almost hotel-like feel. Or for something a bit more subtle, try putting a low lamp behind one of the arms. It creates this soft halo that highlights its iconic silhouette. But what if you have a big open-plan living space? Well, lighting is your absolute best friend for creating different zones. A large arc floor lamp, for example, can visually anchor your seating area, making a little room within a room. You can also use spotlights to pick out specific pieces, guiding the eye and creating totally different moods for your living area, your dining area, or maybe a workspace. And don't forget, the light source itself is a piece of the decor. Fabric shades are great because they give you this beautiful, soft, diffused glow that's really flattering to leather. Metal finishes, like brass, can echo that classic heritage vibe. And a little bit of glass or a mirrored surface can bounce light around the room, adding a subtle sparkle without being too much. All right, so we've talked about D-light, we've talked about layering, and we've gone into the details. Now, let's bring it all home and pull this together into a clear strategy for creating your own beautifully lit space. So let's just recap with a quick checklist. Start by managing your natural light. Then, build your evening atmosphere with those 3 layers. Always choose warm, dimmable bulbs. But if you remember just one thing, let it be this. You want to aim for pools of light, not just flat, uniform brightness everywhere. It's that beautiful contrast between light and shadow that creates a feeling of luxury. And finally, make sure your lamps themselves are part of the story. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. You need to start thinking of yourself not just as a homeowner, but as a lighting director. You have all the power to set the scene, to create the mood, and to make sure that the beautiful things you've chosen for your home truly get to shine. So what story will your lighting tell?